guys, what is going on? It is Intelligent Cycle here, back with another movie review, and this time it's for the my hotly most anticipated comic book movie of the year, the summer blockbuster, as it was supposed to be advertised as, supposedly is advertised as, and that is James Gunn, DC Studios led Superman 2025. And this is not only directed by James Gunn, distributed by Warner Brothers. Peter Safran produced as well. He was also the writer. James Gunn and Jerry Siegel as well. Superman must reconcile his alien Kryptonian heritage with his upbringing as reporter Clark Kent as the embodiment of truth and justice and human way as soon as he finds himself in a world of views that is as old-fashioned. Knows that also Lex Luthor is trying to pontificately and just reassuringly trying to turn the whole city of Metropolis, turn the whole world, the government officials, the whole societal government, and the whole city of Metropolis against Superman by going out into his lair and his lair caverns and actually doing a bidding and recording, having one of his companions record his parents' speech that they had with him and as they sent him to the city, sent him in the city of Metropolis, adopted by a foster family and known to the world and known to the whole public and known to the world as Superman, and sent him in order for him to help lives, to help people out, to save lives, in order to do good for the world, to do good for humanity, and do good for the community in the community of Metropolis. Do good for the community while his own world, his old Kryptonian world and society was destroyed. His parents had died, and when they left that recording, and Lex Luthor ended up using it and exposing it to the news public, exposed the news organizations, exposed his whole idea, exposed his parents' wholly undoing, and an ultimate plot thread and a plot twist in the beginning in order for the world to turn against Superman, because in Lex Luthor's mind, played by Nicholas Hoult, he believes that Superman is out to destroy Luthor Court, destroy, in certain sakes of his own realm and his own mind, in order for his own world and own beings to still continue to remain, while he still has a plot out to avenge and to be apropos and be opposed to more war and more trials, tribulation, more war and more treason, with the city of Borovian and the city of Jafir as these military soldiers of Borovian and Jafir is trying to go against each other, and while Lex Luthor is sending billions of dollars in order to enable this infringed war that's going on, Superman is in line to stop it and in line to going against it. So that pretty much is a simple thread and a spoiler, somewhat, and it's simply a simple plot premise of what's going on in the film. Now, let me just talk about the characters real quick. So, David Corenswet is Superman. But before I get to the characters, let me talk about James Gunn's direction, because I've been hearing a lot about his style of direction, because he's known for the Guardians movies, and he's known for what he did with the TV series Peacemaker, and known to throw a lot of humor and one-liners and throw a lot of jokes in. And did that affect my experience personally with the movie? No, it did not. Did not affect my experience at all with the movie. In fact, I really don't even think that some of the jokes may not have landed as far as in the second act and third act of the film, but it did not affect the experience at all. It did not take away any plot threads. It did not take away any dialogue to me when he threw a few jokes and one-liners in there, especially serious moments. And even in the beginning when Lois and Superman, Clark Kent, was talking, and she was asking questions and questioning, the morale of what Clark does as Superman, and when she had threw a couple things in there that may be opposed to the current state of the newer generation, it took Superman a little bit back. It took a little bit back in the conversation, like he was just so opposed to what happened. I mean, so opposed to what the world and what the public and what, you know, people that are fans are saying about him. So it kind of was a bit of a shell shock to him. And then she also questions about, you know, his intentions and his morality. And we see that in the beginning at the same time while they're establishing their own relationship. You know, they want to try to set odds and see, as a reporter, as a journalist. I thought Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, you know, she did a great job and a great performance. And she was asking the tough questions as a interpret, reporter, and journalist, as they should, to know about what they had to be amends. Now, David Corenswet as Superman, I thought he was great. I think he had a phenomenal performance, and he embodies the role of Superman. One, he embodies him because of the mannerisms. He embodies him because he gets his tail kicked. He gets whooped a lot in the fights, and this is also a new experience for him, as for a three-year priority being Superman, because, you know, he's just newer as this character getting onto the scene. And I thought, even though we didn't see a lot of Clark Kent in here, I think that it was a good thing, because it was more center focus on Superman trying to save lives of Metropolis, trying to help out the community the way he can, the way he's known to do it, and also help out in a way where it's superficial and super seen to him. So I thought Lois Lane, Rachel Brosnahan, and David Corenswet gave excellent performances. Let me just say this: Nicholas Hoult is absolutely phenomenal. He reminds me a lot of Michael Rosenbaum, Lex Luthor. Nicholas Hoult was great as Lex Luthor. He reminds me a lot of him, Michael Rosenbaum, who also makes an appearance in the movie. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see him in there. He also makes an appearance. He's one of Nicholas Holt's, Lex Luthor's characters, and one of his minions, and one of his adversaries working with him inside of Luthor Corp. And you'll see him when you see the movie, what I'm talking about. But he does make an appearance in here. But again, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was great. He embodied that role, and he did his thing. He did his absolute thing in there, man. Made you really want to despise him. Made you really want to hate him. And made you really despise his motives and intentions to try to cause war and more friction on a community and an environment, while at the same time trying to destroy and ruin Superman's reputation and image. He really just, his mannerisms, the way he just goes about himself, his personality, everything about it just makes you want to despise him, man. Even though his motives, they didn't really. I'll get to that. That's a negative. I'll get to the cons in a minute and explain my negatives about the film, because this film is not perfect, but it has some flaws. But his performance in general was great. But I'll get to the negatives about his performance in a minute, as far as the motives and the writing behind his character. Let me just say this: I thought the other characters, the guy who played Rex, he really was trying to track his son. You know, I think it's baby alien. He was trying to track his son. He gets kidnapped in this portal, this portal gate. This portal gate that's a time reversal. That's a reverse jump. Portal gate that kidnaps and holds all of the aliens and holds all of the species back in this cavern, in this cave, in this more or less layer cave that pretty much keeps all the prisoners there, keeps all them captured by the government. I really did like his performance in there. I thought he really was solid. Gave it all. He gave it pretty much everything he got, and he really did his thing. I thought, to me, another really good thing about the character who played Mr. Terrific, I thought he was really incredible. Let me get to, because I want to get, oh, my bad. Let me get, I want to get to that. Sorry about that, guys. Trying to get to certain characters here. Damn it. I cannot find the guy who plays Mr. Terrific. But anyways, I cannot find the guy who plays him. But anyway, the other guy who played Mr. Terrific was really, really good, really, really solid. I think he definitely embodied the role and pretty much did his thing. And absolutely, he was more the computer, the hacker, the savvy, the more genius, the more computer tech guru, more savvy genius, and trying to help Superman within his goal to try to save the world and save humanity, to stop inflicted upon villains. And he's a part of this group called the Justice Gang. And I'll get to my negatives in a minute about them in my cons. But yeah, just going off the characters, I thought he played a really solid role. I think he really did a good job. Mr. Terrific, he did his thing. Now, enough of the character breakdowns. Let's go to the pros for this movie. The biggest pros for me has to be not just the character development, but the really good action. The action and the villains. All of the villains that were in here that were really, really solid. And the visuals, also the visuals, Lex Luthor's villain role, the high-octane, high-paced action, and the fight choreography was absolutely top-notch and on point. They did their thing, and I couldn't be more happy. With what was going on, man, and really was just all about just the feeling of it, the aspect, just the angles and way it was taking it as far as the action and the fight choreography, whether it be between the Justice Gang and Lex Luthor's troops down in the city of Barovia, and also whether it be Superman and that other giant monster that was really crazy with that, and then Mr. Terrific and the people at the Hawk Girl and Green Lantern, the Justice Gang came out and helped him out. That was really nice. That was a really good fight scenes, and that's in the beginning. And also another really major pro again was James Gunn and his filmmaking, man, and also the balance between the serious tonality and the comedic jokes and comedic one-liners. That was really the big positive. And also, I really didn't like the fact about this film that it didn't turn. It wasn't dark at all. It wasn't a dark movie, dark comic movie, or a dark Superman movie at all. It had a lot of light. It had a lot of positivity, and it had a lot of hope and feel and remorse. And you're gonna probably hear it in a lot of reviews. A lot of hopefulness, a lot of positivity, and a lot of just uplifting and upliftment. It had a lot of leg room and a lot of weight to stand on, and the pacing also was great. It didn't feel like it was running low. It felt like everything was just fast and quick whip and just on point. Now let's get to the biggest negatives. The biggest cons to me is Lex Luthor's motives and why he wants to kill Superman. I don't think they really just make it seem like we've hated him all from the beginning, which we know we have. If you watch the Christopher Reeve's Superman movies and Richard Donner directed Superman movies, I mean, you know that Gene Hackman's character Lex Luthor always has had, and Terrence Stamp and General Zod and his troops always hate Superman. So go back to that, yeah, we know that. And then you can go into the Smallville show when Superman and Lois, yeah, Lex Luthor always has hated Superman. We already know that. But the way the motives were explained and how he goes about it and how he hates him, it doesn't really add up as much. I didn't really get that part of why he does officially hate him overall. And it kind of threw me off a bit in the movie, in the context of the film. But I just believe in overall the motives behind Lex Luthor wanting to hate on Superman. I just feel like it wasn't properly fleshed out well, and it wasn't explained well. And I didn't even mention I forgot to mention my positive. Krypto, that super dog. That Krypto was absolutely the show stealer, man. Whenever he gets menacing, whenever he gets vicious, he starts to attack. So Krypto, the super dog, that's another positive. Seeing him in there that was really good. and he really helped out, and he really helped out Superman a lot. But anyway, getting back to the cons. Yes, definitely Lex Luthor motives was a big issue. Another big issue to me, didn't really necessarily hurt the quality of my enjoyment, but the Justice Gang, part of the Justice Gang, mainly Green Lantern and Hawk Girl. I thought those were absolute weak characters that wasn't fleshed out at all, wasn't explained well. The jokes basically was centered around them, and their jokes did not land at all whatsoever. And that just to me just ruined certain little moments that could have been really with good tension. It was just ruined with the way their dialogue and the way it was written. I felt like they was written very poorly, and they didn't really flesh out them enough. You know, and that's another thing that could be an issue for some people, is you got too many characters in a film, and it doesn't really have as much levity explanation, especially in a 2.5 hour long film, to really go through everybody's, you know, role and how much they have it, how much their importance are. It can be an effect to a certain degree where you can't really flesh out everybody and really give everybody their moment of screen time. I feel like it did balance here with the screen time, but with their screen time, how they was at, and how their roles portrayed, especially with interacting with Mr. Terrific, and when they was talking to and this is just a one small smaller, but when they was talking to Rachel in the downtown in that downtown bank, I can't remember the bank title name off the top, but in Metropolis, I thought their conversation to try to go after and look for Superman and look for where he was at and how they didn't want to help him, I thought that was just, to me, was just corny. I didn't like that dialogue scene at all. I thought that was kind of corny. But again, those are my negatives, and those are my biggest cons. But getting into my overall thoughts about the film, thoughts about Superman 2025, we have a really dope, really good, really entertaining blockbuster spectacle that will keep you on the edge of your toes. The high octane action, really good fight choreography, really good, really solid, but not all the way great visuals, and really, really just good opening dialogue from everybody. Including your main characters, and really just hit it all the way home. So yeah, that's just my summary, and I give Superman for 2025, I give this a solid 3.5 out of 4 stars, a 9 out of 10, a highly recommendation. Go see it on the biggest screen possible. You cannot honestly skip this film at all. You got to see this on the biggest screen possible. See it in IMAX, see it in the best screening, and also get the best seats possible. And stay tuned. The post credit scene and the end credit scene, you don't really need to stay for them, because the only one the first one mainly is not really that as important. The second one, it's not really that important. So mainly both of them are not that important. But see it on the biggest screen possible, and see what you guys think and how you interpret it. But again, really good film, really good comic book movie. Will definitely be in my top films of 2025, and definitely the best comic book movie I've seen so far this year, by far. Like, it is amazing. Loved every single performance in here. They did their thing, and I cannot recommend this one enough. So yeah, man, that's my thoughts about Superman 2025, James Gunn. I cannot wait for what he's gonna do with the Peacemaker show that's coming out August the 21st. I can't wait to see that one. John Cena's returning back, and John Cena also made an appearance in here on the newscast as Chris, and they also made references. Also, Frank Grillo made an appearance as Colonel Rick Flag. That was great. Really like seeing him in here. And yeah, that's pretty much I gotta say about that part of that one. Also, if I hadn't mentioned this already, definitely gonna see this on the biggest screen. If I had to rank this, I would say this would be, as far as I'm concerned, about the Superman movies, this will definitely be in my top 5 of the Superman movies, man. It's up there. It's really solid. Peter Butter, VR. Hey, what's going on? But yeah, definitely recommend this one to everybody. I'm trying to think if there's something else I'm forgetting. And the next movie I'm gonna see is I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's gonna come out this year. And then more than likely is another film I'm gonna see later on this year is probably definitely Eddington. Definitely can't wait. That's the Ari Aster directed western spaghetti western film. I can't wait to see that one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, go check out Superman. Really, really good film. Highly recommended. And that's all I got to say. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for some that were viewing and most that were not. You can watch this on the replay. I'm gonna do more comic book movies. I'm gonna do a spoiler of this sometime later on next week. Probably when I go see this again. Yep. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out. Peace.